Hello and welcome to this lesson on the dotCMS site browser. If you'd like to follow along with the lessons, remember that you can log in to demo.dotcms.com, which is up 24 hours a day and resets at 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. with a /admin at the end of the domain. Then you simply log into the back end of the demo site with admin@dotcms.com as the email address and admin as the password and sign in. So I'm going to be working from my own local instance to talk about the site browser. So I'm going to go ahead and close that other tab. And here on the site browser, there are many different things that you can do, many actions you can take to manage both the web pages, the files, the folders, and the menu links that appear on your site. So if we look at the demo.cms.com host, we can right click on that host and we can either edit a site, add it to a push publishing bundle, add a folder, add a container, add a template, add a page, an image or a file, or multiple files. Now whenever we're logging in here, we're logging in as administrator. From a content publisher's perspective, you would probably only be able to add folders. Each of these options is permissionable, so you'd be able to add folders, add files, and that's usually about it. But for these demo purposes, we're going to show all of the options available, but only explain and go into detail on the ones that are most appropriate for content publishers. So let's just go ahead and click Add Folder from the host, and we'll add a folder called Training. Now, if we want that folder to actually appear on the top navigation, we can put Show on Menu on the training folder itself. There's a couple more things we'll have to do. We'll have to put a page to land on inside of that directory, but we'll go ahead and do that in just a minute. You can allow certain file extensions inside of any folder. Otherwise, the default, if nothing is placed here, then any extension is allowed. But let's just say you only wanted to allow JPEGs and PNGs. So then you could use a asterisk wildcard to allow any file name, and then .jpg, JPEG, and then a comma for the next file type. Maybe we would do a star.png, and and so on and so on. So if you wanted to restrict the files that could be uploaded to your folder by default, then you'd put the restriction there. If not, you just leave it blank, and then any file type can be uploaded to that folder. Here, once again, this is the default file type for files that get uploaded to this folder. So if you wanted to always, whenever you right click on the folder and you add new, for it to, upload videos. Now you still have the option whenever you're a content publisher, as long as you have permissions to the type of file, to upload any content type that you have permissions to. But you can by default have it automatically suggest that you drop videos into this folder or irregular file assets. We're just going to leave it to the default file asset and save that folder. Now, the second we save that folder, if we went to the .cms demo site index page here, then we'd see training up at the top here. But if we clicked on training, because of that show on menu on the folder, but if we clicked on training, we would get a 404 because there isn't any pages created inside of that directory yet. So like I said, we'll have to do a few things to get that menu link to work, but we can already see it appearing here, our directory, and we can already rearrange its position within the menu. Let's just say we wanted it to appear first. We can save our changes, and now it's on the top left hand side of that navigation. Very, very easy to control those navigation menu items from the site browser. So I'm going to go back to the site browser here, and inside that training directory, let's right click that directory. We've already edited or created a folder. If we looked at edit folder, that would bring us back to that same view that we were just looking at. We could delete an entire folder, which would delete everything inside the folder as well as the parent folder. We could publish everything inside the folder, but we first have to have a few items inside the folder to make that meaningful. Or we could add the folder and everything in it to a push publishing bundle. We could copy the folder and move it inside of another directory, a copy of it, which would create a new ID for the folder. Or we could actually cut this folder and put it somewhere else. Okay. We're going to go over the new options though, since the rest are relatively self-explanatory. So we could create a new subfolder, or we could go ahead and create a new page. Let's go ahead and create a new page. And then you pick the type of page, either a landing page or a regular page asset. Usually a webmaster will tell you the types of pages or the page content type that they've created for you and tell you which ones you're going to use, or maybe you will only even have permissions to create one page content type. That's for webmasters to decide. So I'm going to add a new page and I'll just call it Training Home. Now, if this truly is going to be the home page of that training directory, then it needs to have a URL, which is the default URL for any folder. And just like for any site, the default home page for a site is usually called the URL index, your website.com/index. The same for any particular directory. So we changed the URL only in this case. If we had 10 different pages, there would be only one in this directory that had index, right? To make it the default page if someone just hits /training at the end of the domain. Now for a template, I wanted to use a 2-column template, so I'll just type in 2, and then I get my 2-column template options, or I could search for other options just by clicking the down arrow. And then look at all of the options here, click on all sites and see what other options are available. I'm just going to go ahead and click on 2, and that sorts automatically the 2-column templates, and I'm going to use this one with a side navigation on it. I don't need to click show on menu in this case because it's already in the training folder up top. It's already showing menu the folder itself, and this is the index page for that folder, so I'll hold off on that right now. I'm going to save and publish the page and then lock it for editing. I am now editing my page, and you can see the 2 columns here. The 2-column page exposes a left-hand container called default2, which accepts web page content, and then a container over here called large column 1 here that accepts blog content, events, generic content, locations, media, news, documents, and products. Okay, so this is how you would add a page, and then you can start adding content of a certain type, new content. We can choose any of these content types. I'll just choose generic content, and I'll add some sort of training home message. So welcome to my training home page, and I'll put my title, welcome, and save and publish my content, and then the body is set to show here on this page. All right, so going back to the site browser, we can see here we have our training directory and our index page. So if we actually went here to the website and we went to any other page, here through the navigation, now I click on training, and it instantly delivers me back to that page, right? And if we had more items inside of that directory, then it would become a drop-down arrow automatically using the navigation tool, and it would give us various options in a drop-down menu. Right now we only have one page, so it doesn't give us that little drop-down arrow. Going back to the site browser, let's see what else we can do by right-clicking on any directory here. So if we click on New, we just created a page, we've already created a folder, and now let's upload an individual image or file. But to do that, maybe let's add a new folder for this subdirectory called Images, and then let's go ahead and upload some images there. So I'm just going to call it Images, and I would not put the show on menu for just an Images directory. I would not want that to appear in my main menu, so I'm just going to click Save, and then I'm going to right click and maybe upload a single image or file to the directory, and then I'll show you how to upload multiple files. Our default file type for uploading is the file asset content type. This is what is meant by that property on the folder, which one is suggested to you as a content contributor whenever you contribute a file to this particular folder. Although a content contributor who has permissions to other file content types could always change that default suggestion on what type of files they're going to upload, and then choose something different, right? So I'm going to select, and I'm just going to add from our desktop demo directory here. I'm going to add the Life of Pi, a little movie poster here. And I'll go ahead and save and publish that little movie poster, right? So that's uploading one particular file to a folder, but you can also upload multiple files, right? And once again, same file asset type. And then if I click select files to upload, I can pick here from photos. I could pick, well, here, I'll just do it from here. Apes and Ratatouille, maybe up. I'm just holding down the control key on my keyboard. Ratatouille, and just add those. And save and publish those multiple files to that images folder, right? And so now if I wanted to edit any of those, I could go ahead and click on it and edit that image here from the image editor here. Right? And there's a couple of options for, making cropping an image, for resizing an image, for adding an artistic effect and grayscaling an image. We'll have a lesson later on the image editor in our online course. So that is how to upload multiple files on the site browser. If we click on new, there's one more thing that we can actually do, and we could create a menu link here. So let's go ahead and create a menu link. And let's just say in my directory I wanted to have something like a application to create an account or something like that. So I'll click on create, I'll type create an account, and then I can browse for an internal link, or I could actually type in an HTTP or HTTPS external link, or I could actually have some code, some JavaScript, Velocity, HTML execute whenever the link is clicked. But we're just doing a regular internal link to another page that is somewhere else, not in my current directory where I am in the training directory, but it's somewhere else. So maybe I would select application here and create account and choose this other page that doesn't exist inside my local navigation pathing, so it would not normally get picked up by the a left-hand navigation tool or anything like that. But this is how you can actually create a menu link that will actually appear locally, even though the object that it's trying to reach is not local. Right? So create account here, and then of course you would need to put show on menu so it appears on the left hand side. You can choose whether it appears in the same window or a new window. We'll just choose new window here, and you can determine a manual sort order, although we've already seen that you can drag and drop things around in navigation items. Just to give a little variety of things that we will see in our local menu, let me also put another page here, a new page, and I'll call this technical information, and I'll make this a one column template, not intranet, but quest one column, and I'll do the show on menu and save and publish this page, lock it for editing, just for something else to see in our left hand menu. I'll add some new content, make it generic content. This is technical information. And I will also, tech title, and save and publish this. So now if I go back now to training, I see technical information in here, and let's see, I also had created that inside my images directory. Ah, there it is. Okay, so here I created it inside my images directory. I didn't realize that I was clicked there on images. So now I'll show you the cut and paste. So I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to paste it right in here inside this main directory. Okay, so now we'll have our navigation items all at the same level. So now if I click on my index page for training, then I see create account and technical information over here on the left hand side. This is my menu link, and this is that alternate page I created. And I can click this little up and down arrow is for the top navigation. This one here is using a side navigation tool, and I just click here, and then I can put my create account information down at the bottom, save it, and then it's there on the left hand side, right? So we can test these two links by clicking on create account to go to that menu link in that page in that completely different directory, or we can go ahead and click on technical information to go to that other page which has a different template choice, so that's why we're only looking at one column rather than two. So that is how to add things from the site browser. We have created new folders, we've created new pages, a single file, multiple files, or a menu link. So that is pretty much everything that you can do from the site browser. We will go over later during the push publishing section how you can add things to a push publishing bundle, or right click and push publish a complete directory if you wish over to another environment through push publishing, but we'll cover that later in the push publishing. All right. So before we close out though on the site browser, wanted to cover a few things about the detail area over here. Now you'll notice that anything that actually is in blue you can click on and then sort all of your items inside your detail area by clicking on that title heading, whether it's name or modification date, etc. You can also hear from this detail area. Let's just say if we wanted to go to one of these images and we wanted to unpublish or remove it from this area. So let's just say some dynamic code on a page was using up, or we were using it in a WYSIWYG and we were referring to it. We can actually bring that down. We could unpublish this file here, and then it would no longer be live on the site. Okay, so if we wanted to then totally archive it so that it does not appear here anywhere in this menu, we can click on archive. It'll ask us if we are sure that we want to do this, and then that completely removes it, and this really should be considered a delete. That way, if there is any chance that you remove the wrong image, you want to bring it back later, you realize you made a mistake, then you can always click the show archived here in the detail area, and then we can right click and we can unarchive it, and then we can publish it again and bring it back. But once you've actually done the right click and the unpublish, then the right click and the archive, click OK, and then the right click and delete instead of unarchive, then there's no way to bring back that file except by calling the server admin and asking them to, bring the file, the files back from a backup, which they're not going to readily do. So just a warning there. If you want to remove something or bring a page down, it's better to simply right click it, unpublish it, then right click it and archive it. And that'll be ready for kind of garbage collection, and within a certain long period of time, all items that are unpublished and not being used anywhere on a page and archived, they can simply be removed through a kind of sysadmin garbage collection process. You can also, if you're working on something and you realize that you exited the page without actually saving or publishing, to unlock it, and you want to make it available for another user to be able to edit a page or a file that is created here in the site browser. You can see this page is locked and this page is locked. You can right click and you can unlock it, so that then another content publisher who also has permissions to that page would then be able to edit it. Right now, the index page would not be editable by another content publisher, although an admin could always come in and right click and unlock it as well as the person who has the lock on. Okay, that's everything from the site browser. Hope it was helpful, and we'll see you in the next lesson.